Good morning, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Cooking with the Frisbees. It is December 1st, 2021, and we are going to do a December garden tour. Beth is going to do that for us today. I'm just doing the intros. Today is going to be an exceptionally warm day. It's supposed to be 66 today, then 70 tomorrow, 73 the next day. But we want to show you what's going on the Acorn farm in terms of our fall garden. There's some exciting things that have happened. There's levels of prep that have been going on, some things we're going to need to do. So follow me on down there. We'll go see what Beth has going on.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's such a glorious day today, and we're just going to give you guys a little tour of what's going on. So Keith mentioned it's December 1st, and we're having an exceptionally warm couple of days. It's been getting down into freezing and just above freezing, so I've done a couple of things, and you'll see how the garden has changed. So my rosemary is doing really well. I'll have to cut it back a little bit, but I've actually just been using the clippings to keep the garbage can smelling fresh because we keep our garbage in the garage, but it's a great trick. But you'll see all the basil is gone. I've harvested what I could. We still have a good amount of sage and oregano, so I definitely, before those guys completely die off, I'm going to take some of those out and air dry them, and I might even film that once or twice. I did it with the basil and it worked super well, so I'm going to go ahead and do that with the sage and the oregano that's in the middle. But you can see how the weather is really starting to affect the onions. They're starting to have a difficult time. So this down here is my broccoli and kale. And you'll see that I have these guys covered. So these guys are really small. I'm gonna go ahead and uncover them for the day since it's gonna be so nice. But you see how tiny they are. Like itsy bitsy tiny. And we had some getting a little bit of discoloration, and I read that sometimes when they're super small, they might have a difficult time. So I've been covering them when I know it's going to be down into the 30s, and they seem to be coming back really nicely. So I'll leave this off for the afternoon so that they can get nice and warm. Next is the broccoli, which is I am so excited about. I've never done broccoli before. It's doing so well. Look at the size of this head of broccoli. I mean, this is my hand.
Wow.
It's so awesome. So once we decide to go ahead and harvest that, which is probably going to be this week, it lasts really well in a refrigerator. So we'll go ahead and harvest them, and then that will tell the plant to go ahead and start producing some more from their offshoots. You can see this one here has already got an offshoot coming off of here. So we'll go ahead as soon as we harvest it, we'll go ahead and start getting them to produce some from the offshoots. And then this kale, you can see it's maturing really nicely. We've eaten off of this plant multiple times. You've seen it with Cooking with the Frisbees. So these guys are mature enough that this weather is really, really not affecting them. Super excited about that. So next is our Brussels sprouts. I am very excited about this one as well. If you look in here, you can see these guys are starting to get nice and big. And the idea is, once they start getting big, more mature like this, you start pulling off their branches, and that says to it, put more energy into the sprout, stop giving me energy for my leaf. So that's what we've started to do. Look at this guy's getting real big.
I can't wait to taste these.
I know. And I've been told, and I have experienced as well, that the smaller the sprout is and the tighter it is, the sweeter it'll have, a fresher, sweeter taste. So we'll be harvesting these at a smaller size than maybe something you would see in a regular grocery store. Before we go over to the sweet peas, I wanted to stop here and show you guys, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but these are actually artichokes. So I have 4 of them. They're in cages because the dogs tend to step on them. But that's a teeny tiny one, but this one here is a nice size one. And each artichoke plant takes a year or 2 before they mature and start really giving you good size artichokes. So I'm very excited about it. They're super cold weather hardy, so they should live straight through winter. So I've mentioned that we've had some really, really cold weather and we're getting to have some warmer weather. So enter sweet peas. These did really well in the spring when it was nice and cool outside. They don't like to freeze. However, they've not been frozen. They've had some frost. So I'm gonna let them keep going and see what they might produce. I don't have any flowers just yet, but with the warm weather coming, I'm hoping that might change. But they're still going, so I'll keep letting them grow. I did want to point out, you might notice on the Brussels sprouts that they're a little wilty. And this is all because when it is super cold, you just don't have to water as much. So we did turn our weeping system off, which you can kind of see the weeping system here. So we turned the weeping system off, but now that we're getting warmer weather, we're going to turn it back on for the next couple of days and let them get a little bit more water in them. We're supposed to have a rain sometime on Monday, so we'll probably turn it off that Sunday night and then let the rain go ahead and water it. And then we're getting another cold snap, so we'll keep it turned off until we see that they are telling us they need a little bit more water. This is still my bed of radishes that I'm having no luck with. Some critter came in and ate all the greens, so I tried to cover them up a little bit, give them a little bit of safe harbor from the cold weather that we've been having, and also keep whatever critter it is, kind of hide them. Maybe it won't notice that they're there.
Oh, they know.
I know. They keep finding it. So we're going to run down to the peppers now and let you see exactly what these cold snaps have been doing. Peppers do not like winter. Thus, the peppers.
Ouch.
Right? So I pulled a lot of them prior to this, and I'll probably show it in another video where I've dried them out and they're continuing to dry. It takes about 10 full weeks for them to completely dry out, and then you can use them for making your own chili powder or making your own cayenne powder, or even just leaving them in that dried out state so that next spring or during the winter even I can rehydrate them and use them in soups and stews and whatnot. So we'll keep them. These guys I can also pick. There's still quite a few on these trees that I haven't picked, and I might just pick them and offer them up to folks in the neighborhood or anybody else.
There are quite a few.
There is quite a few. There's quite a few. I even have a poblano in here that's, I'll just pull it off. I'll just pull it off and bring it inside.
Yeah.
I can always use this. It's little, but we can always use it in eggs or just to add a little flavor or seasoning. So there is an option with your pepper plants that you can cut them down to the lowest stalk. So where you have, we'll use this one. So for this one, we have the lowest branches right here. So I would cut it down to here and then pull it up and replant it in a pot, and then take it inside or keep it in a greenhouse where you can regulate the temperatures and keep it a little bit warmer for them. And then you should be able to replant them next year in the spring, and instead of growing from seed, then you're going to be growing from an existing plant and an existing root ball. I decided not to do that this year for a couple of reasons. One is I'm going to switch up some of the peppers that I'm going to be planting. The jalapeno did really well. I'll probably redo that one. The poblanos did really well. I like these a lot. But there's some others that I wanted to play with instead of the serranos, which is why I am drying the serranos out. Their Scoville heat was a lot hotter than I expected it to be. So my hot sauce is really hot.
What did you call it? A Scoville heat?
Yes. That's how hot a pepper is. It's
Okay.
Scoville.
Scoville. So
Yeah.
that's the degree of hot?
Of heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the poblano for our garden was the lowest, which is why I use it with scrambled eggs. It's not too much heat in the morning. It's just enough to give it a little kick.
If I can take it, anybody can take it. I've actually enjoyed that with the eggs.
Yeah, and I roast it. You roast it, and then you peel it, and then you pull all the seeds and stems out. So also seeds and stems are what makes something really hot too. So by the time you roast it and pull the seeds and stems out, it's very doable. Looks like something got into my my last jalapeno. Something got, and then they decided it wasn't worth it.
So I guess it was too hot for the rabbit.
I guess so.
Or the chipmunk.
Or the chipmunk.
Yeah.
I think it's the chipmunk.
I think it's that big chipmunk back here.
So
He's
plant
scavenging.
yourself your own.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some volunteers back there.
Okay, so moving on to our compost. So I started with my little individual composting barrel, where I have a composting bin that sits on the counter upstairs for banana peels, scraps, carrot scraps, all of those little scraps that I'm cooking with go into that pot. I actually have a composting mixture or pellet that I use to put in there to help it break down. And then also we use coffee in our compost. So we do have a Keurig, but we do empty the coffee grounds into that composting bin. And then once it's full, we bring it down here and we empty it into here. And then this we add water to, and we just turn it on a regular basis. It's pretty full right now, so it's quite heavy.
We need to empty that out
We do.
because it's time for us to compost the beds and get them prepped for spring.
Yeah, so, and then this will get emptied into this compost bin. This is our older compost bin. It's got grass and clippings from the garden and fruit that went bad and odds and ends.
It's very rich.
Leaves. It's very rich, and even every time Keith turns it, you see there's lots of earthworms in it, so it's very happy. And then this will be the next compost bin, and same thing, some grass clippings, leaves. You can see some of the leaves from the Brussels sprouts are in here. And again, just continue to turn it, and hopefully this will be ready for summer and we can add it to our soil just to enrich it a little bit more. Now, our trellis. So it's again getting really cold. Roses aren't happy with that very much. We need to start cutting it back so that it can hibernate for the winter, and then hopefully when spring comes back, it'll come back even better than it was this year. We didn't get as many roses off of it as I had hoped, but I'm hoping that come spring, now that it's more settled, and again, we'll compost in here, give it a little bit of extra rose vitamins, and then we have a couple pepper plants in here that have died off. I'll cut those back. There's a couple serranos still on here that I can come out and pull and offer up to people. And hopefully next year we're going to compost all this, and we plan on adding another rose to this side of the bed. Keith wants to build another rose box so they'll both grow up into each other and complete the trellis, which I think would be really pretty. And then, as you know, we did cucumbers vertical last year. I don't think we gave them enough rich soil, and I didn't amend those beds enough. So we're definitely going to be amending those when we start amending these beds for spring, and we'll be amending them through the winter. so that come spring, they've already added all that compost into their soil. So it'll be nice and rich, and they'll be ready for seedlings. Let's hope. I think that's it. So thanks guys for coming on my garden walk with me.
All right, let's go back up top and just show them what's left of the pots up there.
Oh, nothing. Okay, so now we've moved up top where we have all of our planters, and during the spring and summer they did our tomatoes did really well. Obviously they've died off. We have some fallen fruit in here. We have some leftover straw in here. We will amend these as well. They probably won't have anything in them during the winter, but we have stuff like straw and a little bit of wood chips and some old fruit that fell off when we were taking it. So we'll just turn all these and let all that straw and wood chips and old fruit break down over the winter time, and we'll amend it a little bit more, and hopefully by the springtime they'll also be ready for some great little seedlings.
Yeah, all of them are gone, as you can see.
Yeah, all the way down.
Even our blackberries back there. I'll take a quick walk. You see, leaving the straw in here. These all did extremely well. I'm not disappointed by it. The rose bush kind of coming into its last. The blackberry bushes that we planted over here that we only got a few things off of. We found Bella over here eating them. I don't know what appealed to her, but these we're just going to let go. We've only had a few off of them. So we'll let them go. We'll continue to fertilize throughout the winter. All right, folks. So once again, thanks for joining us on our December 1st, 2021 garden tour. There are some things growing. Maybe next year we'll try a few more things, but guess what? You wouldn't think of it, but it's time for us to start getting ready for our spring garden. So we've bought seeds. We need to buy some more seeds, decide on the things we're going to do. I've got some more beds to build that I'll film as well. It's supposed to be a predicted warmer December than normal. So we will come back as we start to harvest some things. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Look at that.